Get these colors right. Yes! Mic check. Works great. Let's start. Ja moin, what's up my friends? Nice to see you again here on my channel. Let's talk about this new beast and why I would definitely recommend you to try a zoom lens for landscape photography. So, let's roll the intro. So, sorry for being off my friends for all the time, but so many things, so many interesting things were going on in my life. So first I'm married, then I had my honeymoon trip, then I moved to another place, I quit my job for being a freelancer in filmmaking, bought lots of new gear that I need to test and so on. Also did some movies, you maybe see the wedding film I made, you can see it here, or the image film. So as you can see, really much things going on in my life, and so I had unfortunately not that much time for vlogging. So overall, the story with this here began after my Thailand trip. Yes, after my honeymoon trip. It was a great trip. I did lots of videos, lots of photos, and I tried to put my feelings into the photos, but it didn't work at all. Yes. There were some very good shots, I think, some drone shots and some shots with my 60 Mark II that I really like. But most of the photos were more like snaps, and they're not that great as I thought. And then there was the trip last week. And before this trip I thought about I need to get another lens. So my first idea was getting a 16 to 35 wide angle lens because it's great. I have this wide angle, watched lots of videos about this. And then I watched this video from Thomas Heaton and it totally changed my mind. I will link it in the end, cut it down in the description. It's about landscape photography and using a zoom lens instead of a wide angle lens. Because most people, like me before, think, oh, landscape, wide angle, 20mm, 24-16, wide angle, that's great for landscapes. And yes, it is great. With a zoom lens, it's more about trying to find what's great in this scenery that you see. So, what's the subject that pays your attention? So that's why I bought this one. Tamron 150 to 600mm f5 to 6.3 with image stabilizer. This is a heavy 2 kilogram monster, or better 2.2 with all the accessories. That's it. That's the lens. It's really a heavy beast. So I bought it, got it I think 2 days later, and put it on my 60 Mark II like this, all the way out, and take my first photo, and was totally disappointed. Yes, really, look by yourself, very bad image. And I thought about it. I thought maybe it's a lens, maybe it's not good, maybe it's you need to pay more money for such a lens, and read a lot and thought a lot. And the next day I go out very early and tried the same shot, and this time it was much better. Look by yourself. So I edited a bit and put these birds in it with Photoshop, and it looked like this. And then I thought this was great invested money. So why was the photo so bad the one day and so good the other day? And it's actually very simple, because it's 600mm. You need to have very clear view, very clear weather. Maybe early in the morning or late in the evening, that's great. But when it's a bit hazy or too warm and the luft is like, I don't know, flickery or so, you see it all in your photo. So if you take a photo with 24-70, it's not a big problem, but if you really zoom that far, you see every bit of haze, every bit of fog, and that's the biggest disadvantage with this lens. You need to have great weather if you want to have really sharp photos from very far objects. So the photo you see from the cathedral was around 4 kilometers away. The first day I took the photo at midday. It was flickery because of the warm weather, and the other day it was early in the morning. It was not so warm, great weather. And to show you what 600mm really means, here's a photo from my smartphone from the same scenery, and here again the photo from my 60 Mark II, and here another one with an APS-C sensor. And with APS-C you're nearly 960mm, and that's really, really far. So what I love about this lens, why I bought this and not another one, it's really easy, it's cheap. It costs around 1,200 euro, and I know it's expensive, but if you compare it to a Canon 70-200 f2.8, it's 2,000, and it's only 200mm at the max. Another thing that I really love about this lens is the image stabilizer. It's really great one. So I can take 600mm handheld with no problems at shutter speed around 320 or so. You have 3 ways to stabilize the photo. Number 1 is always, number 2 is only if you move it, and number 3 it's only stabilize the moment when you take the photo, not before. In the last mode the photos really get a tick sharper than in the first mode, but it's hard to catch an image when it's... Yes, you understand. Another thing that I really love about this lens is the bouquet. It just... In 150mm you have a bit bouquet, but at 600mm it just blows your mind, just delicious. What I also love about this lens, or zoom lenses in special, it's very great for composing a photo. It's very great for landscapes, very great for people and portraits. You have lots of compression, lots of bouquet in the background, looks very tight. And you can also photograph some people that are shy. I show you 2 pictures here I took on stage during an event. It's one thing to stand in front of a DJ and take a photo, and it's another thing to stand 20 or 30 meters away and take a photo, because he behaves like he normally behaves, not like you're taking a photo. That's great. And it's also great for landscape, wildlife, animals, birds, something like this. But you have also disadvantages with this lens. First, it's very slow. It has f5 on 150mm and 6.3 on 600mm. And if you're at 600mm, the sharpest images you get at around f11. So you need lots of light. So if you're shooting at daylight and f11 600mm, it's okay. You can take photos with ISO 100, but not in the morning and not in the evening. I think most photos look also great in ISO 800 or 1600, totally depends on your camera, but it should be great. And if you only load it to Instagram or so, it's actually no problem, and you can take, I don't know, 3200, 6400. But if you really want to do ISO 100, you need to have some sort of external stabilization, because handheld it doesn't work. Another disadvantage, it's very heavy. So it's 2.2 kilograms, and with this camera body I have around 3.5 kilograms, and it's very heavy. So if you're hiking, you have another lens, maybe 24-70, maybe wide angle lens, this one, maybe drone, and then you have, I don't know, 8 to 10 kilograms, and that's hard if you're traveling a lot and hiking a lot. And last problem I said before is you really need good weather conditions. So I took some photos from the lighthouse on Amrum. This first thing is called a Fallas. It was 14 kilometers away. This photo here is from a very distant sea mark. It was around 23 kilometers away, so really far away, and you see all this flickering. It's not that great. So this is a lighthouse on Hörn um Sylt. It's also 12 kilometers away, and so you also see here this flickering. But if you have great weather and not try to photograph objects that are that far away, you have great crisp photos like this ones here. So to bring it to a point, why would I recommend you to try a zoom lens for landscape photography? So first, you maybe stop taking snaps and really concentrate on a subject in your photo. So second point is you can take photos of objects that are very, very far away, that you maybe won't reach with a wide angle lens on the water or on the aisle or something like this. And the last thing I really like about using a zoom lens for landscape photography is the distance you have to your subject. So it behaves like normal, because you're not near this person or this animal or so. You have this distance, and they don't try to behave like normal because they know that you take a photo. No, they behave normal because they don't know you take a photo, and that's really big advantage for animals as well for peoples and other moving subjects. So if you really want to try a zoom lens for your photography, you can check out this lens in the description. I put you an Amazon link in it, but you can also try other lenses. There's the first version of this one that's a bit cheaper as this one, but also not that sharp. There are also two very great lenses from Sigma, the contemporary one and the sports one, that are around 1 kilo heavier than this one. The contemporary one is a bit cheaper than this, but also has a bit less sharpness. And the sports one is around 500 euro more, but also sharper than this one. And they're the Canon ones, and lots of. But at the end of the day, it's the same like every other day. The more you pay, the better the lens gets. So pay more and get a sharper one, pay less and get not that sharp one. It's totally up to you, but this is for me a really good sweet spot. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you got something out of my video and I give you some new ideas for your landscape photos. If you liked the video, like it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe if you haven't already, and really hit that bell so that you get notified when I upload my next video about photography, filmmaking or just vlog. And tell me in the comments what you think about taking landscape photos with such a big zoom lens. See you soon. Bye. Oh, you're still there. So, bye bye.